Kansai, with Osaka and Kyoto at its heart, prospered as the place where Japanese culture was born. In this historic climate, many Ningyo Joruri works were brought to life and passed from age to age. Now, let's touch the world that captivated people centuries ago. Nanshichi, a fishmonger in the Senshu Sakai, committed a murder and was imprisoned to help out the crisis of Isonojo, the son of his benefactor. When released, his wife Okaji and his sons came to see him, and the shaggy-looking Danshichi regained a clean, chivalrous appearance like a different person. However, on the eve of festival vigil at Kozu Shrine, he mistakenly kills his greedy father-in-law to rescue the girlfriend of Isonojo and is accused of murder of his father-in-law. Tokube, Danshichi's sworn brother, takes pains to lessen the charge by purposefully inciting Okaji to commit adultery to force a divorce. Further, he hangs money for a getaway around Danshichi's neck while pretending to bind him with rope. Abe no Yasuna, onmyoji, yin-yang master, lives harmoniously with his wife Kuzunoha and son, later called Abe no Seimei. One day, however, Yasuna learns that Kuzunoha is, in fact, a white fox from the Shinoda no Mori forest. For the sake of Yasuna, who saved her life in the past, Kuzunoha has transformed herself into a human girl to become Yasuna's wife and make a child. Now that her husband knows the truth, they can't live together anymore. Kuzunoha writes a poem, "If you miss me, come to see Kuzo leaves," which means Kuzunoha, that are weeping in the Shinoda no Mori forest of Izumi on a paper screen and disappears into the forest in tears. Takumi no Kami attacked Kira Kozukenosuke with his sword in Matsunoroka, literally the corridor of pine trees, of the Edo castle, and was sentenced to commit suicide by disembowelment. The punishment also meant the forced extinction of the Asano family. the story, 47 retainers of Asano, led by Oishi Kuranosuke, raided Kira's residence and successfully avenged their lord's death. This is a play based on actual incidents that occurred in the Genroku era. In this play, Kira Kozuke Nosuke from history is renamed Konomoro Nao, while Asano Takumi no Kami appears with the name of Enya Hangan, and Oishi Kuranosuke as Oboshi Yuranosuke. Stories revolve around each of the retainers, who appear with different names until they finally have a raid on a snowy day. Who killed Minamoto no Yoshitomo in the Heiji Rebellion, got angry at the revelation the fall of the Taira clan Heike is not far away, given by the dragon god of Nunobiki no Taki fall, Hyogo, and he ordered for the eradication of the Minamoto clan, Genji. Yoshikata, the younger brother of Yoshitomo, entrusted his pregnant wife and the white flag of Genji to Kurosuke, a farmer's family near Lake Biwa, and died a heroic death. His wife successfully gave birth to a prince at the farmer's house while the Heike pursuers were drawing near. In a desperate effort to protect her, the family presented the hand of a woman which had been caught in a net at the lake, and tried to deceive the pursuers by saying that the woman gave birth to the hand. Actually, it was the hand of Doman, the daughter of the family who had been keeping the white flag. Her hand was cut off by Saito Sanemori when Heike was about to take the flag away. Protected by Sanemori's quick wits, the prince grows up and calls himself Kiso Yoshinaka, who strives for the revival of the Genji. This is a magnificent historical fantasy and is regarded as one of the three masterpieces of Gidayu Kyogen, works which were initially performed in Jewelry Puppet Theater and later dramatized for Kabuki. The basic and bold concept of the story is re-attacking of warriors of the Heike clan, who was supposed to be dead, on Yoshitsune, who was forced to leave Kyoto due to the confrontation with his elder brother Yoritomo, despite the major role he played in the Genpei War. With a precise reproduction of a battlefield in the tale of Heike, then the romance in Yoshino with cherry blossoms in bloom, as well as other places. This play incorporates many elements into its unexpected storyline. Furthermore, Fushimi Inari Shrine in Kyoto City, Omonunushi Jinja Shrine, and Tatsumi Hachiman Jinja Shrine in Amagasaki City, as well as other temples and shrines across the Kansai region, are used as a background for this work. In spring, a memorial ceremony of temple bells is taking place at the Dojoji temple. The chief priest strictly orders servants never to let any woman enter. However, a female dancer enters the temple. She comes near the bell while dancing, pulls it down, and goes inside it. When he heard what happened, the chief priest begins to tell a horrible story handed down at the temple. Once upon a time, a woman who embraced the illusion of being betrayed by her lover transformed into a poisonous snake. She burned the lover hiding inside the bell to death with the fire of resentment. Priests prayed for the remaining tenacity of the woman and pulled the bell up. Then, from the inside, a woman with a snake's body appears. After a struggle, the poisonous snake burns herself with the fire, which was supposed to burn the bell, and disappears deep down to the Hidaka River. In order to retrieve the Lord's stolen sword, Jorobe has changed his names to Ginjiro the Bandit and moved to Tamatsukuri, Osaka, with his wife Oyumi. One day, Otsuru, the daughter of the couple dressed in pilgrim clothing, comes to see them all the way from Tokushima. Oyumi recognizes that Otsuru is their daughter, but a horrible misfortune may happen to her if it is made clear that she is a daughter. Oyumi decides to swallow tears and let Otsuru go and sees her off with Thoro. However, if she lets her go now, when can she see her again? Oyumi makes up her mind and tries to catch up with her. Up to here is the act of Junreika, which is performed frequently. In the subsequent scene, Jorobe comes upon Otsuru and kills her for money without knowing that she is his own daughter. Multiple stories are interlaced complicatedly in this splendid drama against the background of the failed attempt of Taira no Dainagon Tokitada to estrange the brother Yoritomo and Yoshitsune to destroy the Genji. Among others, the third act, Kumagai Jinya, is renowned as a great scene. In the middle of the Genpei War, Kumagai, Yoshitsune's retainer, is secretly ordered to save the life of Atsumori, their enemy. Kumagai pretends to have killed Atsumori in single combat, but he actually kills his own son and holds out his head to his lord. Having lost his loving son, Kumagai bids farewell to his lord and puts on a black robe to become a priest. Oeyama Tetsuzan, the chief retainer of the lord of Himeji Castle, plots to assassinate his lord to take over the castle. Sniffing it out, Kinugusa Motonobu, a royal retainer, sends Okiku, his mistress, to Tetsuzan's residence as a servant to probe into the conspiracy and foil the plots. Okiku continues to spy on Tetsuzan at his residence, and her scheme gets noticed by Chonotsubo Danshiro, a colleague of Tetsuzan. Danshiro threatens to reveal her secret if she does not become his mistress, but Okiku refuses. With a grudge against her, Danshiro hides a plate of family treasure and lays the blame on Okiku. And finally, he kills her with a sword and throws the body into a well in the garden. Ever since this incident, a feeble woman's voice counting plate, 1 plate, 2 plates, has been heard from the bottom of the well every night. The wife of Ogura Hikokuro, who is a retainer of the Tottori domain, gets drunk and enters into an adulterous relationship with Miyaji Genemon, an instructor of Japanese drum who is from Horikawa, Kyoto, while her husband stays in Edo, under the system of Sankin Kotai, alternate attendance in Edo. Tokoemon, a colleague of Hikokuro, shows up and takes with him the sleeves of the kimono of the two having an affair as an evidence of adultery. It was the Edo era. Illicit intercourse was a crime to which the death penalty was applied. The immoral relationship was being gossiped about when Hikokuro came back to his home. Tane's younger sister works out a plan in an attempt to settle it peacefully, but Hikokuro's younger sister gets divorced by the family she married into. Eventually, Tane is placed under investigation. As she cannot conceal it anymore, Tane apologizes for her wrongdoing, even though she loved her husband and kills herself. In sorrow, Hikokuro goes to Kyoto, tracks down Genemon, and successfully avenges his wife. capital of Kyoto, August frequently appeared to steal a lot of treasures and kidnap young girls. The emperor orders Minamoto no Yorimitsu, who is reputed for his adamantine courage, to exterminate the Augurs. Yorimitsu lays out a suppression plan together with his subordinates and sneaks into Mount Oe. There are various theories for its location, under the guise of a traveling monk. Shutendoji, the boss of the Augurs, lives in a mansion called the Iron Palace, surrounded by a number of subordinates. Yorimitsu and his party encounter kidnapped princesses and successfully enter the Augur's palace as guests. They make the Augurs drink sacred sake, and the story comes to a happy ending as they wipe out the drunk Augurs. Ohatsu, during her Kabnon pilgrimage in Osaka, met Tokubei by chance at Ikutama Shrine. Tokubei had been offered a large amount of money by the owner of Hiranoya so he could get married, but Tokubei thought about Ohatsu, who had his heart, and refused. Instead, he met with his friend Kuheiji and gave him the money he needed to return to Hiranoya. However, Kuheiji didn't pay the debt in time. When Tokubei confronted him, Kuheiji shouted at him that he didn't have a debt. Kuheiji intended to trick him from the start. The two start to fight and Tokubei loses his honor. Ohatsu protests against Kuheiji's injustice. She then asks Tokubei, who was hiding, if he was ready to die. The lovers then affirmed their will to take their own lives together. As soon as everyone around was sound asleep, the two of them fled from Tenmaya and headed to Tenjin no Mori in Sonezaki to put an end to their own lives together.